guys, hello everyone, you're welcome back to my channel. My name is Joy White. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please, if this is the first time you're checking on my channel, kindly hit on the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so you get notified whenever I post a new video. Thank you. Okay guys, in today's video we are going to be learning how to sew a shawl collar jacket. So in our previous video we learned how to draft and cut a shawl collar jacket. So if you have not seen that video, kindly check on my channel so you understand how we came about all this. So in today's video I'm going to be taking you through step-by-step process on how to sew this jacket. But before we go on, I'd like to show you what we have. So this is the center front for our shawl collar jacket. This is the center front. I've cut it out already and I've put my interfacing on it already. I've cut it out and I've cut out the facing for this jacket, like I said in my previous video, that I'm going to be using this doll face for the facing. So I'm not going to be using the same material I use on the bodies for the facing. So this is the doll face I'm going to be using for the facing. I have also cut it out and I have put my interfacing on it. So I've cut out the lining for each and every one of them. So this is what we have. This is the side front. I've cut out the lining already. This here we have is the side back. I've cut out the lining for it, and this is the center back. So this is what we have. So this jacket is going to be having a joining at the center back. This is what we have. It's going to be having a joining there. So I have my seam allowance of 0.5, half an inch that I'm going to be using to sew this jacket. So for the side, I brought out half an inch on both sides, and on the hem what I have there is 1.5 inch. So I'm going to be using half inch to join, and the other 1 inch is going to be what the allowance I have in it. So for the side back I left out 1 inch, and on the hem I did the same thing. I left out 1.5 inch that I'm going to be using to sew this jacket, half inch for joining and 1 inch for the seam allowance. So in cutting the lining for this jacket, I reduced my pattern with 1 inch. This is my pattern. I reduced my pattern with 1 inch and placed it to cut out what the lining for all the pieces that we have here. So the next thing we are going to do now is to start joining our pieces that we have here. Okay guys, so this is the front part of our jacket. Remember I said the joining allowance is half an inch on all sides apart from the side front and side back. So here is what I'm going to do. I'm going to place these two pieces like this together, and I will start joining with 0.5 inch from the bottom to the top. 0.5 inch. I will do it for this front, and I will come over to the back and do the same thing. So for the back, I am going to be joining first of all the center back together using what 0.5 inch. So I'm going to be doing it on the fabric, and I'll also be doing the same thing on the lining piece. Okay guys, so I'm done joining all the pieces together, and this is what we have. This is for the front. This is what we have. I've joined it and I've gone ahead to give it a good press. Can you see it? The half an inch joining. I've given it a good press, and here is what we have. This is for the front. So here is the facing for this side of the front. I've also given it a good press. I've joined all the pieces together for both the front and for the back. So this is the back. I've joined it as well, like I said, and I've also given it what a good press. So at this point we're going to be joining the lining to the fabric. This is the back. So what I will do now is I'm going to place it this way like so, and I'm going to be using half an inch to join this hem together. I'm joining the lining to the main fabric now using what half an inch. This is for the back. Then I will come over to the front. This is the facing. Before I join the facing in front, I'm going to be joining it at the hem first. Remember, the lining is shorter than the main fabric, so I'm going to be joining this facing to this main fabric using what half an inch like so. After joining the hem together, I'm going to come over to this side of the shawl collar. I'm going to be joining the facing using what half an inch. I will be joining it to the main fabric till I get to the hem. So I'll be doing that on both sides of the front. So I have joined the facing, and this is what we have. Our shawl collar is already taking shape, so this is how it's going to look like. I've also gone ahead to press on it. This is what we have for the front. This is for one side and this is for the other side. So the next thing I'm going to do at this point is to join the collar together. So I'm going to be joining fabric to fabric and lining to lining. Remember what I added was half an inch, so I'll go ahead and use half an inch to join this collar together like so. So I'm going to be pinning it down. So ensure that these two lines, the joinings are matching up. So I'm going to pin it up and use half an inch to sew on it from one end to the other end. Okay guys, so after joining the collar together, this is the collar, I've joined it and I've pressed on it. So now I'm going to be joining the shoulder together. So I'll pick the front, this is the front, this is the back. I'm going to be joining lining to lining and fabric to fabric. So where we have this curve here, I'm going to be notching it with half an inch, so I'll be able to do what? Sew on that place. Okay guys, so I've notched it with half an inch and I notched the shoulder point for the neckline as well. This is it. So now I'm going to be placing the front and the back together like so. Lining to lining and fabric to fabric, I'll pin it down. I'm going to be using half an inch to sew on it because I'm going to be doing an inseam finishing. Half an inch to sew on it, so I'll pin it down. And when I get to this point, matching both notches together like so, I'll pin it down. So I have pinned it down. I'm going to be using half an inch to sew from one shoulder point to the other shoulder point. So I will do the same thing for the lining as well, using what? Half an inch to sew on it, lining to lining and fabric to fabric. So after joining the shoulder, this is what we have. I have joined the shoulder, like I said, lining to lining and fabric to fabric. So at this point, we're going to be joining the side. So the seam allowance I brought out for the side, I left out was 1 inch. I'm going to pin it down, fabric to fabric, lining to lining, and I'm going to be joining fabric to fabric and lining to lining. So I'll just go ahead and pin it down. So I have pinned it down and this is what we have. So now at this point, I'm going to be bringing down the 1 inch I left for the seam allowance. So I'm going to be marking on it 1 inch, 1 inch, I'm going to be using what? This 1 inch that I have brought out to sew on it. I'll be coming from the fabric point. I'll sew on it till I get to the lining. When I get to the lining, I will use the same 1 inch and sew till I get to the end of it. So I'll do the same thing for the other side as well. So after joining the side, this is what we have. I've joined the side, joined the both sides, and I've pressed on it. Let me turn it so you see what it looks like. This is what the inner of our jacket looks like. So this is what we have. So now at this point, we are going to be fixing the sleeve for this jacket. So I've already cut out my sleeve. This is what I'll be using for the sleeve. You can decide to use any sleeve of your choice, but this is what I'm going to be using. This is like almost a 3/4 sleeve that we'll be fixing on this jacket. So I'm going to be joining the sleeve on the hem using what? Half an inch, because I'm going to be fixing lining to lining and fabric to fabric. So I'll go ahead and join on the sleeve, on both sleeves. I have both of them here. I'll be using half an inch to join on it. So after joining the sleeve, this is what I have. I've joined it. Here's what I did. After joining the hem using what? Half an inch, I went ahead to use the 1 inch for the seam allowance to join it like so. Then I brought it out this way and I pressed on it. So this is for the second sleeve. This is what I have for the second sleeve. So this is how our sleeve is going to look like when you put it on. Remember, it's a 3/4 sleeve. So this is what it will look like. So at this point, I'm going to get our jacket. Here is the jacket. So now I am going to be fixing the sleeve. I'm going to get my sleeve. I will pick just the fabric of it. I'll bring it in like so. So after bringing it in, I'm going to be pinning both fabric together. So now I'm going to be sewing on it using 1/2 inch. So when I'm done joining the sleeve together, I'm going to be joining the lining. I'll get the lining of this sleeve out and connect it to the lining of the bodice like so, and I'm going to be joining on it. So I'll do the same thing for the other side as well. Okay guys, so after fixing the sleeve, this is what we have. Our jacket is ready, our shawl collar jacket. Can you see it? This is the sleeve. I have fixed it, so let me bring it out so you see what the inner look like. Like I said, our joining is fabric to fabric and lining to lining. We enclosed everything in. So this is the inner of our jacket. Can you see it? This is what our shawl collar jacket looks like on the inside. So this is it guys. I'm going to place it on the mannequin so we'll see what it actually looks like on the mannequin. Okay guys, so this is the final look of our shawl collar jacket. This is what it looks like on the mannequin. I love what I'm seeing. I like the fact that it's a 3/4 sleeve. You can have it as a long sleeve or a short sleeve or a 3/4 sleeve. I also like the fact that the facing is having a different look from the main fabric. Yes, I like the effect I am getting. So I used the whole 2 years of this African print in making this jacket. I will advise you have up to 2.5 years if you're going to be using an African print. So guys, this is what our jacket looks like. Okay guys, so if you find this tutorial helpful, kindly hit on that subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so you get notified whenever I post a new video. Like and share this video. Make your comments. Thank you so much for watching.